Hello, everyone. Welcome to Arc Live. If I could count, I would tell you what episode it is, but it doesn't matter. You are here, and I'm glad that you are here. We are live from Network School in the Singapore Johor Special Economic Zone, where we have hundreds of people building the future. And I want you to join. And as part of that, I want you to find out more about the people that are building here with Arc and with Network School. I'm very lucky. This is like a meeting of minds. So this is going to be a great moment. I'm very lucky to have Jesse here. Thank you for coming on and having a chat with me.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me. Glad to be here.
I'm really glad that you're here as well. So Jesse, what are you up to at Network School, just to start?
Yeah, so right now I'm building Commons with Caroline, and it's basically a community within a larger community. So Network School, we're now 250 people, I guess,
Something like that, yeah.
ish. And what I noticed is that it's so many interesting people, and you get to meet so many new people, but that can become overwhelming at some point because you also want to build deeper connections with a few people. And we're facilitating the space where you're able to build close friends, like make close friends with a few people in 1 month.
It is interesting, that point about being overwhelmed. I feel everyone goes through the cycle of like turning up here, there being like so much to do, so many people to meet, and then everyone has to go through their own sort of version of like just like resetting and realizing that they also need to just make this work for them sort of as well, right? But before we dive more into Commons then, tell me a little bit more about yourself, Jesse. How have you ended up here at Network School?
Oh yeah, it's a long story, but I'll try to keep it short. So basically, I grew up in Germany, never really felt at home there. So I wanted to get out. And then I thought my way out is like prestigious universities. So I applied to like Ivies in the US, but that didn't work out. And I was like, ooh, what am I going to do now? So I thought, okay, I'll figure it out myself. And then I wanted to go into the startup world because I guess I had some alignment with the mindset there of taking agency and figuring it out yourself. So I interned at a startup in Berlin and got like the experience, how the startups work. And then I wanted to build my own startup. And I left Germany, was staying in Georgia for a bit, Madeira, Norway. Didn't end up going all the way in with the first idea I had. Was doing some freelancing, web design. But I always felt like I wanted to go the full way. I wanted to build my own business. So I was seeking a community, and then I came across Network School earlier this year. So I applied for like September, and now I'm here.
So, yeah, did you arrive in September?
Yeah.
Wow. On one side, that seems like so long ago, but it is just last month, right?
Yeah,
like time sort of like flies, but is also sort of in limbo here, right? Okay, so like, just tell us a little bit about that. Like, about like how did like expectations versus reality of you like coming here and arriving in September? What was that like for you?
Yeah, so my expectations were basically finding like-minded people and also being in an environment where I can work out, I can eat healthy. I'm surrounded by people that like push me to go further. And when I arrived, I was first a bit intimidated, a bit shy. I had like this problem space in mind. I was researching like how to build community, how to find belonging, how to solve loneliness for young people. But I didn't know what were the first steps for that. It's a very broad problem space. So going here helped me kind of break it down, and being part of ARC, like go actually from idea to MVP.
So
my expectations were surpassed. I didn't expect it to go that fast. I didn't expect to feel so at home here with the people. So I got all the boxes ticked I had imagined and way beyond that.
Yeah, it's very interesting, right? Because so you've had this like great experience and like again all these boxes that were ticked beyond that, right? However, you still saw an opportunity or space for you to build Commons, etc.
Yeah, I think there's many boxes that I ticked, but there were some boxes which I didn't I put on the list
before,
and I realized they are essential. Like earn, burn, learn. They are all great.
Yep.
But there's like a fourth pillar which is essential, and that's like the relationships. And it goes beyond just networking. It goes beyond connecting. It's like, how do we bond? How do we build like a support network? People that would show up for you if you're like at 2 a.m. in a tricky situation. And that layer I'm hoping to build.
No, it's so interesting. I think like for the point that you mentioned a little bit before, about, again, maybe there being 250 people here at Network School, right? And again, were you here when David Sampson came through from our Tribal Future, the author?
Good question. I was here, but I missed it, unfortunately. I wasn't feeling great that day and I had to skip.
No, all good. But he came through and he did like a little chat with Ark and gave a presentation on our Tribal Future, and it was just really interesting timing of him being here, because we were at this inflection point of broadly Network School going through this 150 Dunbar number, and like, how does that even start to work, right? And as we're trying to grow up through, 1,000 plus people that are sort of like being here, how do we have community? How do we have belonging? How do we have not just, again, people that we know, but friends that we can call on, right? Who is our tribe within this like much larger community as well, right? So there was this need for, I mean, maybe that's a debate, maybe you disagree, I don't know, right? But there was sort of maybe this, as we were expanding, there's this need for this sort of like segmentation to happen so that people can still build these relationships. Do you think that's correct?
Yeah, I do agree. I did some research after I saw like he had given this talk, and I talked to people and they were recommending his work. So I looked a bit into it, and very much aligned with my thesis that we have scaled beyond like the Dunbar number, and we need to segment down. So I do think like initiatives like ARC, like Commons, more of that is needed. It's like these sub-communities, these tribes that foster a sense of belonging. And I think here it's so interesting right now to be here, because it's like the early stage of any bigger society community that's emerging. So if we figure out what works here, we are probably able to do the same on a larger scale in cities across the world.
Yeah, I know when we first spoke about this in September, and I was keen to see you kind of like move forward and build this sort of stuff, right? We even spoke about that, right? This isn't just a problem here at Network School, right? Or rather, like, it isn't just an opportunity here at Network School, right? This is an opportunity everywhere, right? There is just a global problem of, I mean, maybe if we choose one word, would be loneliness. Is that would you say that's the number one problem? Do you think that you're sort of solving? What do you think the wider problem is, I guess?
Yeah, the wider problem is actually a spiritual stagnation.
Oh.
So I would say like we have now more than 100 years where there's a big gap meaning-wise, and people are looking to fill this void. We've went past like the religious worldview where we had the meaning derived from that. And then there was like nationalism. We tried that. We tried communism. We tried capitalism, but all of that didn't fill this void to a satisfactory state. So we're like looking for something. And I don't think I will be able to come up with like a solution that fills this void, but at least like some small scale experiments that may help a small group of people fill this void for themselves. And that may then become a blueprint for more people. So this is how I think about it.
No, super. And this is why I was so keen for you to move forward with what you were doing, right? Because like, you know, I have so much to learn as well from like you know, looking at that problem, looking at that space and trying to build things that kind of like, kind of like work kind of with that. But maybe then to go into a little bit more detail, like what did you set out to do then with like Commons sort of like here, right? Let's just go into a little bit more detail about what you were trying to do and what Commons looks like kind of like right now here at Network School.
Yeah, I came with a very abstract problem, like solving loneliness for young people. It's like, wow, this is big. How are you going to start with that? So my goal was to break it down to something practical here. And the first step was like a small cohort. We're now running a 20-day pilot here, where the goal is to help people become closer within those 20 days.
Yep.
And my thesis is that if you have built-in commitment, so you sign up, you pay a membership fee, you're more likely to show up and also invest in those connections.
Yes.
Another aspect is we have limited to only 25 people. We're 24, so it's like almost the maximum threshold that we were saying, like we won't go beyond that.
Yep.
And I think it's working well because we run into the same people multiple times per week, and that allows us to build those deeper connections.
Yes.
And then we have another element, which it's also part of ARC. It's like rituals. We do the weekly sauna and cold plunge ritual. And if you look at David Sampson's work, it's like the commitment layer, there's the rituals, shared practices, and we also have symbols. So I quickly designed a logo and we actually ordered and designed like caps for our members. So this is like not just the 20 days here, we wanted to persist beyond it so that the logo of Commons, the 20 days experience that's associated with the pursuit of belonging, of community. And maybe people stay here and they'll do another month, but maybe people leave and they'll take the mindset which they hopefully have acquired during those 20 days and apply it somewhere else.
No, it's so interesting. And so again, like we are now like, coming to the end of October, right? I'm just trying to work out where we are, what planet are we on? And how has that gone then, right? Like coming to the end of your pilot, right? Like how are you finding, how's it gone?
Yeah, I was really surprised by how well it was received. So we had like 70 plus people for our launch. Then we had people the next day that still wanted to learn more about it because they missed it. And within 4 days, we had like filled the spots and launched already with the opening ceremony. We did like the cacao ceremony. We did a guided meditation and a round where everybody shared like just one story from their life.
Yep.
Some people shared like fun memories from their childhood. Some people trauma bonded. And then
did anyone overshare?
Potentially people overshared. No, I don't think so. I think that it was just right.
Good.
And people felt already connected through
Yeah.
And then each event was just like a reinforcement of those connections. And now, I mean, we're probably almost, 2.5 weeks in. And I would say I can see like the friendships there. Like, people are closer than they are with people they maybe have only met here twice, 3 times. And I think this is a very good starting point to build on and further invest in those connections.
No, I agree. It's like, maybe it's easier to explain. It's like if you live in a tower block in a city, right? You're surrounded by people. But actually, like every day you walk out into the street, like you bump into a different set of people every single day, right? And it's like maybe you manage to build a really light relationship with your shopkeeper because you see the same person every single day, right? But it's obviously quite transactional and it's just for a few seconds, whatever it is, right? And we sort of have the same thing here, right? Where it's like, and you're in this building, there's all of these people. And if you just come here and you're not sort of like deliberate about anything, you will see 250 people for a few minutes each, once or twice over a month, right? And that's obviously not enough to build bonds, to build friendships, and to build the relationships that you need to decide or to choose to be somewhere sort of like permanently, right? And if you just, so my point is that I think if you just leave it to serendipity, it's really tough, right? Like, and this is why I'm so keen for things like Commons, right? Because again, you're like being a little bit more deliberate about it, and you're allowing people to sort of like accelerate this process of building relationships, right? By bringing this group together again and again and again, and not just within a time frame, but it's not but on top of just that simple sort of like deliberateness, you're then creating again these community rituals, these experiences will make it even easier for people to bond beyond just the cadence, right? But if it's just like a very simple sort of like problem in a way, but like I think it's very important because people will not stay here unless they're actually sort of like building relationships where they feel that they like, I don't know, whether it's belonging or whether it's just there are people that they can count on, right? It's very easy to have a whole bunch of connections, but like, who's going to be there to, to trauma bond when you overshare on whatever it is, right? So I think it's important. What do you feel there are things that you've already learned and things that you'll do differently with Commons in the next iteration?
Yeah. So I think one important aspect is trying to get it into a physical space. We do have a physical space, but it's too far. It's like at a co-working, and that's like it doesn't facilitate the connections. But actually, if we have a physical space here in the hotel, that would allow people to even deepen more those connections and add this layer of serendipity to it.
Yes.
So this is something I want to change, like build up on. I mean, there's many micro learnings.
Sure.
How do people like? Some people, they commit and then they show up every time. Some people commit and it doesn't work that that they show up every time. So there's like all these different nuances of human nature, which I hope to take into account for the next iteration.
Yeah, no, that's good. And then there's this word that we get referred to as a layer 2. What does a layer 2 mean to you?
Yeah, I don't really agree with that word, to be honest. I think I don't think in layer 1, layer 2 in terms of commons. I do see like network school as probably the perfect place to start it. But I mean, we've branded ourselves as Commons Movement, so it's more so movement that goes beyond this place. This currently has a home here. Maybe it's like a node that's here, but it's not so much that we are building on top of network stool and want to build on top of other layers. So I could see this branching out globally with different nodes in cities, maybe in network states. Yeah, this is how I think about it.
No, it's interesting, right? Because now I guess here at Network School, we've got Commons, we've got ARC, we've got 1215, the kind of like art culture lab, the AI culture lab that's going on sort of like over there, right? And it's like we're starting to see these like other communities kind of like form, provide these sort of like, provide experiences, provide the opportunity for deeper connections. And then we've obviously, we've got like Binance like 10 meters down the corridor. We have Base that keeps on coming through, the super teams, virtuals. Like there's lots of these maybe like more corporate approaches that are sort of like happening here, but there's now these kind of like deeper, again, I see you more as someone that's building something more permanently here as opposed to these kind of like visitors that come sort of like in or out, right? But it's sort of like very interesting to see all of these structures, communities, whatever we want to kind of like call them, start to emerge on top of the infrastructure that Network School is. I'm very, very interesting. It's observing how these all sort of like come together and sort of like grow. Do you think there's like, is there room for 10 more of these? Do you think these are core? Like, how do you have an idea of how this sort of like evolves over the next year here at Network School?
I do see it a bit like we're like New Amsterdam, not New York. So we're at the frontier. There's like the pioneers that go there. There's like the sailors, the merchants. So you see all of these people here, and I guess that's also one reason why there's a gender imbalance. And I do think like over the long run, we want to become more like New York at its prime. And for that, we need a big variety of all these different shops, businesses, communities. Like we need some diversity. So I do think the more we get of initiatives like ARC, like Commons, like the AI Culture Lab and so on, the better this place will be for people. It will become more livable. It will attract a more diverse range of people and increase the quality of life for everybody.
Yeah, like I'm 100% agree with that, right? This is why I'm so pro as well, because just like, even if you choose the most niche person like you actually need this incredible diversity of experiences and products, like to make anyone really feel that they can choose this to be their permanent home. So I think it's really important, the work that you're doing. I'm glad that you were doing. Like, how do people get involved? How do they find you? How do they join Commons? Like, what's the call to action from you?
Yeah, so we're at Commons Movement on all social media, and especially on Instagram, we're sharing kind of live from this founding cohort. So if you're curious in what we're doing, you can see there. We're going on a surf trip on Sunday, so we'll make some stories. And then if you're coming here and you want to make close friends, join Commons. If you're coming here and you want to accelerate as a founder, join ARC. If you want to do both, do both.
No, I agree. That's the way to do it. No, Jesse, love it. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Everyone join Commons. It's super cool. Come and visit it. And yeah, thank you very much for coming here today.
Thank you.
Cheers, dude. Oh, look, you can see it's all happening. Again, this is one of the really interesting things about being here at Network School, is that like society is like literally evolving week by week, month by month. And Carlos, mate,
Hi.
thank you for being here. I'm hoping this is going to be funny. We were at, I think, like a town hall the other day, and you were mentioning to others your first impressions of me. What were your first impressions of me, Carlos?
God. Okay, so I arrived at Dennis in September, and I went to the 13th floor where we usually have dinner, and there was this tall blonde guy in his laptop, and I said, "Oh my God, this." At that point, I didn't know you were Brit, but I said like, "Oh, you were walking like," and I said, "Oh, this guy is so arrogant." But then I started joining the events you were hosting, and I said, "Oh no, okay, he's not that arrogant. Actually, I would like to meet this guy." And then I started joining your events. We started chatting, and that's how I ended in ARC.
Well, I'm glad you're here. I enjoy your company and also your sort of like your family. You're actually like one of the very few people that has sort of like a child at Network School as well, right?
Yes.
And I feel like I have a small relationship with him as well, which I enjoy kind of like having as well. But when did you arrive here, Carlos, again?
In August.
In August. God, it feels. I mean, this is again. It feels like you've been here forever.
Yeah. Initially, because I'm with my family, we plan to be here only for a couple months, August and September.
Yeah.
And then because of the conference and joining ARC and a lot of stuff that is going on, we decided to stay one more month. And yeah, ideally, we would love to stay more time, but the truth is, as of today, it's very difficult to be here with a family.
Yeah.
And not because the facilities are not made for families, but there are no other kids.
Yeah.
And for a kid, it is very important to be with other kids.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it's tricky, right? Because on one side, it seems like it's amazing, and that like they get to have all of this interaction with all of these adults doing all of these interesting and crazy sort of like things. But they're then sort of like not having those other sort of like fundamentals, right? Which is maybe challenging, right? I mean, there are some other kids, right? They've got, with some of the kind of like other children here, but it's obviously not the
yeah,
same.
I mean, they do play, but there's a gap in the age.
Yeah.
Max is 12 years old.
Yeah.
He usually plays with Sebastian, who I think it's 9, and Kiki, who is 6. So there's a lot of, I mean, at that age, it does matter the age difference. So yeah, it's
yeah. I feel like actually I'm gonna do. I was speaking to Diana about doing an interview series with the kids.
It would be interesting.
It'd be quite funny. They're all wicked. Like they're so good.
Yes.
I really enjoy like having like that opportunity to have those sort of like interactions with those guys. Like I was dancing with some of them last night at the vibe coding competition, and that was much more entertaining than dancing with anyone else. But okay, well, how did you end up here in the first place then, Carlos? Like, why did you end up here?
So long story short, I mean, I was 18 years old, and I started working in a company called EP7. It was a startup. And then I started working with a lot of people. And then I started working with a lot of people. And then I started working with a lot of people. And then I started working with a lot of people. And then I started working with a lot of people. And then I started working with a lot of people. And then I started working with a lot of people. And then I started working with a lot of people. And then I started working with a lot of people. And then I started working with a lot of people. And then I started working with a lot of people. And then I started working with a lot of people. And then I started working with a lot of people. And then I started working with a lot of people. And then I started working with a lot of people. And then I started working with a lot of people. And then I started working with a lot of people. And then I started working with a lot of people. And then I started working with a lot of people. And then I started working with a lot of people. And then I started working with a lot of people. And then I started working with a lot of people. And then I started working with a lot of people. And then I started working with a lot of people. And then I started working with a lot of people. And then I started working My background is as an architect. I'm a licensed architect, and probably a year and a half ago, I started kind of coding, building mini apps for Farcaster, and that's how I heard about Balaji. Even though I've been in crypto for a long time, I usually don't get into social networks that often. And I heard about him when he made the bet on crypto, on Bitcoin going to $1 million.
Okay, sure.
I had a similar opinion that day. I said like, oh man, this dude is so dumb. Like, why betting $1 million on Bitcoin in such short time? At the end, turned out he's not that dumb, obviously. And I learned about NS, but at a very superficially. And since I was doing this stuff about mini apps, coding, I thought it might be interesting going there just to learn more, just to be surrounded by all these people. Probably I can learn a lot. And actually, I applied for B1. I didn't got accepted, but then I started reading a bit more about network societies or network state, and it made sense to me because I have a group of friends in Mexico. We are around the same age. I mean, my oldest friend is around 65, and the younger on that group is around 45. And for the last 10 years, we have been thinking about how are we gonna live when we get old, and what are we gonna do? So our plan or our idea is to buy land in Mexico, and each one is gonna build his own house, and we're gonna live within this community, everybody on his house. Because regularly you get old, you go to like these communities where all the elderly people are just doing the same boring stuff, and you have 1 hour to watch TV, now let's go and play games, and now time to read, and they're like, that's not life. So we were worried about that, and specifically because all of my friends, they don't have family. I mean, they have family, but they don't have kids, and when they get old, they're gonna be like, oh, nobody's gonna take care of me, so I have to take care of myself. So that was what I've been thinking for a long time. And then when I started seeing these ideas about network societies, and specifically when I arrived and during the Network State Conference, I realized there are so much things going on around network states and these ideas of startup societies, startup communities, that it totally made sense on me. And when I joined ARC, I don't know if you remember on the objectives, I said like, I want to try it because probably I will find my tribe, and that's where I want to live. Because I love Mexico, but as much as I love Mexico, I think I don't want to go back because it's getting so. I mean, there's so much stuff going on in Mexico. I don't want to go back. I'm just seeing where I'm moving out, where I will end my. If I can find my tribe. And
I mean, what do you think then? I mean, like, do you think that how has network school been for you? Do you think it's like fulfilled that desire or that goal?
I mean, it's interesting, this idea of living with a group of people with the same mindset. This idea of having to work out, learn, learn, burn. I think it's a great idea. But what I like, it's like, even though you have to do that, it's like you can do whatever you want, basically. If you want to go to the burn, you do it. If not, it's fine. The same with the burn, learn. Everybody's free to do whatever they want. And I have found very interesting people in here with a similar opinion. Also, there's like people with different opinions, which is also very interesting because we can have like very interesting debates and conversations. So I think in the long term, these network societies or these startup societies might end up working well, because that's what, in my opinion, that's what people are looking for. A lot of people are tired of their governments, their politicians, their societies, and they just want to move to somewhere where they feel safe, where they can find interesting people, and just like I said, where you can find your tribe and where you belong.
Yeah, no, it's so interesting. Again, like we're just speaking to Jesse from Commons, right? There's actually like, the space is actually very broad in terms of the problem area that we're trying to sort of like solve, what the people are working on, right? And at like a fundamental level, it's like, I don't know, again, it's just that it's much more local, right? It's about like, okay, like for you and your friends and your family, like where are you going to retire to and to choose and have home and whatever it is, right? And it's actually just like very human at this very local and small sort of like level, whilst at the same time understanding that like the prospects of that locale is impacted by the big global problems and the governance of the city, of the state, of the country. And so again, it's just there's lots of different angles to this problem and lots of people working on very different parts of this. But I mean, maybe one specific question for you again. You mentioned again that you were an architect or are an architect, right?
Yes.
Is fair, right?
Yes.
We're in Forest City, which has some fairly unique architecture. Would you sort of like say what is the architect's view of the cyberpunk reality that we live in?
In terms of design, or
I mean, I'm just you go for it.
I mean, this is something that is happening in many countries. Specifically, China is very common. They build cities from scratch, and just like they did in here, and it's something that is happening is they build these huge cities for probably 100,000, 200,000 people. They build everything like apartments, probably a hotel, pretty much like in here, and then people move into them, and then they realize like it's not working, and they move back, and they are turning into ghost cities, just like this one.
Mm-hmm.
But I see them like the perfect place just to run these experiments for social, for these network societies. Why? Because you have all the infrastructure needed. And that's something that has been discussed here. We could move to a private island, but then how do we get to the private island? We will need electricity, an airport, or a port, or that stuff. And in here, we have everything. I mean, we are connected to Singapore. We are in to Johor. We take a plane. We are in probably 1 hour away from Singapore to Johor. We have electricity. We have everything. All we need is the people to run all these facilities. So,
yeah. And you said that again. You see all this stuff around you. You are renowned for having particular perspectives on this island because you have all the drones. Right. And you've seen more of this island than sort of like anyone, right? Like when did you, I mean, again, this is it. I feel like you're helping every single person here that needs drone footage or drone description, right? They're coming to you and they're helping see what's going on here. But like, what's all the drone stuff? What's going on?
Well, in Mexico, I have a business related with aerial and photography and video. So I do a lot of stuff with drones. I shoot for I'm the only company that has a contract with the largest TV production company in Mexico called Televisa. They do mainly soap operas. So not me, but my company does around 50% of all their aerial footage for their soap operas. And then also I work with a lot of real estate developers, and I do a lot of stuff related with architecture. I can do topography. I can do, before they start building the development, we can do like aerial footage for the renders, for the visualizations. One of the most common or the most common job I do is they have the plot, and I have to raise the drone at certain heights, and I do a 360 photography, and then they print it at a large scale, and they build a one-on-one sales room and put the photo on the window, and this is going to be your view. If you buy the penthouse, this is going to be your view, which is kind of tricky because it's not that real.
Sure.
But that's something I also do, and I do a lot of stuff.
I hear you've also been training the AI models, whether that was voluntarily or involuntarily.
That's that is like a conspiracy theory that DJI has been mapping the world, not me.
but I mean, but also you've been, again, you've just received, you have a lot of footage that you've created, right? Which is out there on some of these like footage platforms, and you have just been rewarded, right? And you realize you literally.
So what happened is I've been doing this for probably 10, 12 years. So I have a lot of footage, and not only in Mexico, all around the world. I like to travel. So everywhere I go, I go with my drone. And I've been selling stock footage in platforms like Adobe, Pond5, Shutterstock, probably for 8 years. And then one day, I mean, the income has been decreasing because nowadays everybody buys packages of footage. Initially, you could only buy like one video. Now you can buy a package, and I mean, the income has been decreasing. But one day I received like a huge check, and I was like, oh my God, what did I just sell? So I went to my control panel, and the reason Adobe paid me is because they were training their AI models with all the footage I submitted to them. So it was like, I never accepted this. I mean, it's like a nice way to say, thank you. You know,
sure.
But
no permission.
if they have asked me, I would say, no, I don't want to train your models, because now people are going to use the AI model instead of buying my footage.
No, I'm with you. It's very, very interesting, right? This stuff is happening. But I mean, let's come back a bit more to now, right? Because you've got a very interesting recent story with some of the projects you've been working on, and some of maybe the hackathons you've been winning or being disqualified from, or just tell us some of these stories.
Well, as I mentioned, I started building mini apps specifically for Farcaster, because there's like a small niche, but it was like my playground. So first I went to EP7. I participated in the hackathon. I built a healthy app, which we won a small track. And then I thought like, this is like interesting, trying to see where I can go without coding. I mean, it's not that I don't code. I understand, I can read like basic code. I can see how it works. And obviously I use a lot of AI with Cursor and all these AIs. So I've been participating in hackathons. I won in EP7. Then I went to FarCon in New York. I also won a couple tracks. I participated in base batches. I also won the track, but then I got disqualified. I'm not sure if I can talk about it live, but there was an issue involving North Korea. So yes, we were disqualified. And
just put it this way, it wasn't, again, you weren't deliberately doing anything wrong here at all. Let's be very, very clear. But just like you ended up caught up in a much bigger thing that is just a recurring issue and problem in our industry.
But I realized it's not only on our industry. North Korean guys are known because they apply for jobs in the IT, in IT, and then when they have enough information about the company, they start like blackmailing them, like, hey, I know this is happening, so now give us money. And they're doing that. I mean, the reason what happened is we didn't know, but our dev is in North Korea. And we were told like, don't blame him. I mean, it's not him. He's like a slave from the North Korean regime, and he has no choice. He has to do it. Otherwise, they'll kill him or they'll put him in a jail or whatever. So they are doing that to fund the North Korean regime.
But they are, right? They are the largest organized hacker group in the world. They are responsible for basically like more stolen crypto than anything else in kind of the world. It's like it's a pretty serious problem for everyone, basically. When
the guys at Base realized, I mean, they involved Coinbase security team, a team in Argentina, a team in Mexico, and we were discussing like what's going on. It wasn't our fault. We didn't do the correct due diligence. with this guy. But I mean,
but they trick you,
tricky,
right?
yes.
Right? They're like they're not telling you that
Now,
they're working in North Korea. They'll give you a fake
obviously,
ID from
exactly,
somewhere else, right?
exactly.
Like it's like
Yes.
it's not that simple. Yeah.
But I learned two ways to find out, like the most common ways to find out if you're hiring someone from remote, like on a remote. First, if you're on a Zoom call, you have to ask him to pass his hand over his face, because even though they are North Korean, they use filters to look more Chinese or more Japanese. I don't know if that's what's the difference between Chinese or Japanese. So if they have to pass their face to pass their hand, and the filter will like kind of erase.
Yep.
The second one is usually they say like, oh, I live in Singapore, but my English, I don't speak English.
Yep.
And the third one, which is like, this is like, you just have to send them like, hey, say fuck Kim Jong-un or the name of the North Korean leader. He's such a dumb guy, and they won't do it.
And they just can't do it.
And then they will end the conversation immediately. Yes.
That's why, like, you know, the last company I ran, I had this amazing CTO called Sylvan. Yo, Sylvan, if you're watching, unbelievable guy. And actually, you know, the first 2 years we worked together, never even had a video call. So I like never actually even saw my CTO's face for like 2 years. Just like unbelievable working relationship though, you know. Actually, we were doing a company retreat finally like 2 years later to like bring everyone sort of together. And I was like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Everything works perfectly. I've never seen this guy. He could be a leprechaun hanging from the ceiling. I don't care. Everything works brilliantly, right? And he was even better in person. So I'm glad that we did do it, right? But it's just like, you know, for all I know, we could have been employing, you know, North Korean, whatever it was, right? You know, he was not. He was an amazing Filipino. But yes, it's funny how these things come. But okay, look back again to what you're building, kind of like right now. Again, you are, again, still sort of like early stage prototyping. But do you want to talk about what you're building, kind of like right now?
Yes, yeah, sure. I mean,
let's get some users, right?
Yes.
Like,
no, I mean, I've been in crypto for a long time, and during the NFT, the JPEG summer, I tried to tokenize real estate properties in Mexico, even sell them as NFTs, or trying to do a lot of stuff with NFTs and real estate. And then I realized, after talking with so many guys, I spoke with notaries, with lawyers, with government, with a lot of people. I realized it's not going to happen because we are so early. And I decided to move out of that, of the Web3 or crypto space. And now what I'm working is I'm building a legal framework to buy real estate in a fractionalized way, which has nothing to do with architecture or real estate. It's more like a legal framework to allow, yes, anyone to buy real estate. And the reason I'm doing that is because I realize, even though a lot of people are bearish on real estate, people need a place to live, and it's also becoming very, very expensive. And nowadays, it's very hard to buy an apartment or a house, whatever. And yeah, I think it's like a good investment with a couple of friends or with your family, and they all sharing a part of the property.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, this is, I think, like there might be downwards pressure at the macro level on real estate kind of globally, but if you can buy well, like you're pretty much always going to be okay. It's like there are some real estate in the world where just like the real estate is extremely scarce. There's only one Times Square. There's only one Champs-Élysées, right? There's, you know, and like these people are always going to want to be associated with these sort of places, right? And so like maybe more broadly, real estate is falling, but there are some areas where like the real estate is probably not going to fall. They might fall relative to Bitcoin on an angle, but like versus all other assets, like these probably are going to perform quite well.
And sorry to interrupt, but even though all of these network startup societies will need a real estate to live, to as a co-working, whatever. I remember on the week of the conference, I can remember the name of the guy you interviewed who bought this building in San Francisco.
I mean, Jacob from Frontier Tower. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So imagine
True,
if you build this startup society, and each of the members can also be part of the. I mean, they are
100%.
buying a fraction of the building they are living, they are working, they are doing their stuff.
Yeah. No, it's super important. It's super core to this space, right? You know, we've been talking about some of the community layer, but then there's this infrastructure layer, right?
Yes.
And actually a big part of what we're doing, like even if we look here, right, at this crazy cyberpunk city that we're in kind of like here, right? This was empty.
Yes.
We are filling it.
Yes.
As part of that process, we are realizing billions of dollars of value of real estate, right?
Yes.
And the point is, again, like this community and these people, if you are like, again, real estate, the same house can be worth very different amounts depending on where it's built and who wants to be there, right? And like what it's being used for. And I think like part of what our community does really is, you know, first, you know, like maybe we, if we move to Monaco, you know, probably we like ruin Monaco and the prices will go down, right? But for most places, if we move there, we are able to sort of like rejuvenate an entire sort of like local economy and actually drive a lot of value to the real estate and to the land that we are, you know, that we are sort of like, you know, starting to kind of like use as a community, right?
Yes, and also, for example, here at Forest City, there are a lot of buildings. We have the hotel, and there are a lot of commercial plots or lands. I don't know how to call them, but like in the shopping center and at the ground level of all the buildings, there are these like where you can rent and have a store or whatever you want. I mean, I think for the people who are committed and are living here at Network School, at the end of the day, they will also need like different services according to different needs.
Sure.
I mean, we are free to do whatever we want in here, but at the end of the day, if you want a burger, you have to go to Johor. If you want to watch a movie, you have to go to Johor or to Singapore, right? But what if we have like a local restaurant with a Western food or something that all the girls are arguing about is like they don't have like a beauty parlor or their nails. So we still need all these services in here, and they run on real estate.
No, I agree. I was just imagining, we went and saw Tron at the weekend, didn't we? Sort of like together. I was just imagining there would be quite a funny interview series because we saw the 4D version of it, right? If we were sat in these 4D chairs and having to like do a bloody, that would be pretty funny. Side point, right? But you're right. Okay, but anyway, so you're building again a platform that's trying to help basically like community-owned infrastructure, real estate, whatever it is, right? And I think that is an important part of the problem, or at least like the opportunity that we sort of like have here. So it's important. Where can come? How do people reach you? How do people like come and find out about this? Or,
I haven't. I mean, I haven't created any social network, any LinkedIn profile, anything. I'm just like putting all my research on paper.
Sure.
And then I will
Where do they
release
find
it.
you?
But I'm on Parkcaster as Chaps, CHAPS. And usually that's what I'm posting on social networks.
Good. I'm trying to do more Farcaster as well. Like that's you know, it's like we'll start there. But no, look, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for
being on the show. I appreciate it so much. I hope that you know, we can build better infrastructure for Max as well, so that like you guys can stay here the whole time. But
I mean, we'll be back next year. But thank you for hosting ARC.
Thank you very much.
It's been such an amazing experience.
Thank you. Right.
Thank you.
Again, amazing guys. We're on to our last guest. Again, you can join us anytime now. This is a continuous rolling kind of experience. Even ARC itself now, as one of these layer twos on top of Network School, is running continuously, and you can come and fit into our spaces and to our community at any point. So please do come and join us. Gagan, mate, how you doing? Nice to see you.
Very good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm excellent. Oh, I meant to say we've got like, I feel like everyone in ARC is like a hackathon winner of some description, right? Like you are another one. You weren't actually competing in the vibe coding competition last night, were you? but there were 3 winners last night, and all 3 of them were from ARC. Carlos was one of those. I meant to mention that Carlos won yet another hackathon last night. The vibe coding competition was hilarious, but yeah, all ARC victory. It's amazing. And we were lucky to sponsor. It's a great competition. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Stefan. You do an amazing job putting that on for us. Anyway, bit of a side note, kind of like that. Gagan, like, how are you? Why are you here?
Why am I here? I've been digital nomading for like 5 years now, and kind of sick of it. Wanted a base, and I was evaluating a bunch of places, Bangalore, India, just to be around tech builders. Going back to the UAE, just being around more crypto folks, and just I like the place.
Yep.
And the third one was this. So I came here for a month, and no surprises. I like it here, and I'm long term here now. So.
Then this is exactly right. So this is it. You only arrived September again, right? And you're one of the crazies that have gone, you know what? This is it. I'm here.
Yep.
Staying. It's like, what? Why? Particularly as a digital nomad that actually had choices and have actually seen, quite a bit of the world. Like what and why did you choose to be here, I guess?
The simplest reason, I wanted a stable base to sort of work in, lock in. And this is as good a place as I could think of. That's one. Second, and we were discussing this over breakfast today, and somebody had a really funny description of NS, that it's like a adult daycare, which is the most unthreatening way we can describe us. Which is kind of good in the short term, I suppose. But yeah, the idea is that everything is taken care of.
Yep.
There's not much to think apart from work.
Yes.
So I think there's no excuses, I would say.
Yep.
Like the food is taken care of. There's a 24/7 gym. Even if I miss a burn session, I can just go.
Yep.
I worked out at like 11 p.m.
Yep.
No issues.
Yep.
So yeah, I think it's just very easy to work here. That's what I like.
Yep.
Secondly, just people around, right? Met so many cool people.
Yep.
Just randomly bump into the lift and have a conversation for 2 hours.
Yep.
Clearly, like, probably doesn't show that I'm logged in, but you'll know what I mean if you were here.
Yeah.
Just the quality of conversations that instantly happen.
Yeah.
It's very enriching. I think that's a fairly attractive proposition to where I am in my career, and that's why I'm here.
No, I agree. I feel it's like a lot of people, after spending a bit of time here, if they don't get too distracted by all the stuff that's going on, right? Because there is stuff everywhere. But a lot of people, we have like a whole bunch of people in ARC, right? Where they're already like high performance teams, right? We've had a number of like really locked in, founders and early stage teams that have been here. But on their reflection of spending a month here, they realize that this is the most productive month that they have ever had working on their company, right? And it's like, again, whether we're going to call it adult daycare or whether you call it society as a service, like whatever it is, right? It's bloody valuable is the point, right? Like, and I think particularly for a certain individual, like there's like lots of different individuals that I think like really can extract value out of this, right? Like I think one of them is this one, which is like where someone that you have a mission, you want to lock in, you want to push yourself forwards. Yeah. Like there is just the infrastructure for that. The other side of it is that all of those distractions can actually be beautiful and wonderful if you're someone which is at that sort of phase of like exploring what's next, right? So like there's different sort of like it's like choose your own adventure in the adult daycare center, right? Like Absolutely. It's the kids aren't forced to march in a line, right? You can do all these different sort of things, right?
Funny that you say that, because it is a bit of a task, because there's something cool happening any day of the week.
Yeah.
And you have to sort of balance out your work and going out.
Yeah.
But I think Musk talks about unregretted user minutes for Twitter.
Okay.
I think I find unregretted user minutes is pretty high here at NS. And so it's while it's tricky, I think you get a lot of value out of the events as well.
Yep.
And I've been trying to balance the two in the last 50 days I've been here. So.
Yeah. No, good. Well, again, so I mean, like maybe dive a little bit more into your history a bit more as well. Kind of like I guess like what have you been working on in your adult life before coming to adult daycare?
Clearly needed a daycare, but I mean, in my day job, I've been a product manager across edtech, crypto. I was with an exchange earlier, Coinbase. I was part of the international team, and then I was most recently in my job building a browser. We hit about 3 million users by the time I left, and for the past year, I've been building my own products, trying to see what sticks. I've shipped about 6 products in the last 1 year. Most of them didn't go anywhere, but I think it got my muscle back into building.
Yep.
And thanks to AI, it's easier than ever. So I was able to ship some decent products. Some had users, no monetization. And now there are products that I have which have some monetization and users. So there's
Yep.
some traction. So I won the base batches AI track
Yep.
out of India.
Yep.
And India is a fairly competitive space.
Very.
So I think that we were fortunate to get there. And yeah, that product now has Coinbase as a paid customer.
Yep.
So I think that's something good. Going through the legal onboarding process was a hassle.
Yep.
But I got the signed agreement yesterday. So I'm happy. That's what happened. Thank you so much.
Great job. Great job.
Yes.
We've had like a whole bunch of people as well over this last month that have done first revenue.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's, you know, like a whole bunch of people. It's like super fucking cool.
Yeah, I know
Congratulations.
JB.
Congratulations. Yeah, exactly. JB.
Yeah.
Also even like Thomas and Ben as well. Like super locked in. Got like, yeah. But no, Amit, do you want to talk a little bit more about the product then?
Sure.
It's being used as well by NS. Like just, you know, it's doing the rounds on Twitter. Like, talk a little bit more about what you're building.
Sure. The product is called Creator Base, with the thesis being simple that as a brand, instead of spending $10,000 on one influencer, you take that money and distribute it to say 330 nano creators.
Mm-hmm.
A nano creator is somebody with less than 5,000 followers. Now, why would a brand do that? Is the smaller the creator in terms of their following, the higher is the engagement rate,
Mm-hmm.
and the cheaper they are. So it's kind of a win-win on all fronts for the brand.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the natural question would be like, why the fuck do they not do it already? Is that because you have to go through either an agency where the pricing is opaque and it's a lot of manual effort. So, and I've worked that, like marketing teams in my previous roles have had nano influencers, but they could get 5, 10, 15 at most at a time. Whereas in our case, AI agents essentially do all the tracking, evaluation, payouts. So it's much more scalable,
Mm-hmm.
and it's completely automated. So they don't have to have an ops person on the team.
Yep.
The AI is sort of at a place where it's cheap and affordable to do that.
Yep.
So that's one. The second value proposition is that if you have to try paying $8 to 300 people on Web2 payment rails, it's
Yep.
a pain in the ass.
Yep.
Plus, it's expensive. It's just
Yep.
prohibitively expensive.
Yep.
Whereas with on-chain payments, it's a sub-cent transaction.
Yep.
So it just makes sense. It's autonomous. The agent does it for you. The brand, all you have to do is, as the brand manager, you have to essentially just post
Yep.
your requirement, and that's it. Like you have to just sit back and just watch the impressions and your metrics go up on the dashboard. And then thirdly, which is slightly on the medium to long-term futuristic side, is the smart contracts between brands and influencers, wherein it's self-enforcing contracts. So as a influencer, as a nano creator, I have to uphold my end of the bargain,
Mm-hmm.
and you would be as a brand made to uphold your end, which
Yes.
seems to be a problem in this space.
Yeah.
Something that I think we think will happen eventually, like an on-chain DocuSign, self-enforcing contracts. That's my larger thesis. I had a document about this like 3-4 months ago. So this is our manifestation of that. And then what NS is using is essentially a organic social tracker, wherein like communities like NS and other communities like Base want to see what are other people posting about. So there's one thing to be founder-led like you,
Yep.
but then I see a bunch of people posting about ARC.
Yep.
And what we want is that number to be up to the right.
Yep.
So that's an organic tracker for that. I built that the first week I came here.
Yep.
And they were kind enough to like it, and now it's a part of the NS dashboard.
Yep.
So yeah, it seems to be working.
And you can see that just like, you know, search for some, you know, if you're embedded in sort of like NS Twitter or whatever it is, you will see this this kind of like this scoreboard, you know.
Mhm, yeah.
I mean, I think like, you know, I tweet a lot about NS, but again, I just have such a small following. There are some of the, you know, I'm barely on the chart, right? Like.
I mean, out of about 1,400 people in the last 6 months, you are in the top 50.
15 or 50?
15.
50. Yeah, that's useless.
That's not bad.
That's
That's not bad. Don't
Again,
feel
I am completely unvaluable. This is like demonstrative of the complete lack of value I apply to anybody, right?
And the
Like,
context being the top months are Monad, which is a fucking chain. So again,
I mean, there are quite a
They're
few
like
big parties
multi-billion
that have
dollar
come kind of like
protocols.
through. Yeah. This is what's kind of like funny with what ARC's doing here. It's like there are lots of other organizations. Like, I guess same with Jesse, right? There's like Jesse and me here, and then it's like, yeah, okay, so there are other organizations like, you know, Solana,
Yeah.
like Base,
Yeah.
like Monad that have done similar scale things here.
Yeah.
Just maybe slightly different sets of resources and communities to achieve similar outcomes. You know,
a little bit. Yeah.
it's interesting. But I mean, again, to go back to Creator Base, it's really interesting, right? Because again, the core observation, right, that you're starting there with is that it's a much better way to spend your money as a brand if you can actually activate and leverage all of these micro influencers who maybe don't even consider themselves influencers, right?
Absolutely.
Just people with like very small accounts that have very engaged followings, and that you can leverage or incentivize them to do things maybe that they would love to do anyway. Like maybe they're already tweeting about your product, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And one, you're giving them analytics, but two, again, this is it. It's like, there's a nice idea in principle, like, oh, okay, as opposed to spending all of our money on Kim Kardashian, we could actually spread this across 1 million smaller, kind of like people.
Absolutely.
But the logistics of that are impossible, or historically been completely impossible, right?
Correct.
Nice idea, impossible to do, but I guess like Creator-Base is basically making it as easy to execute as it is a nice idea. Is
Absolutely.
that fair?
Absolutely. And I think thanks to where AI is, just the compute is so cheap that we can afford to do that in a sort of profitable manner. And I think what we've done, I think decently well, is just bring together a lot of systems that work independently really well. So for example, on-chain agents on Base, they work on their own. We brought them integrated into our smart contracts, integrated into our system that will pay out based on engagement. There are social listening tools that exist. So we've built those. It's essentially tracking what's happening on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Farcaster, and so on. So I think we've done that part decently well. And now it's possible. It wasn't possible like 2 years ago. So I think which is where we're trying to capitalize. That why now, which I think a lot of people that want to ask, that why would this work now? And just to your point, like, don't take our word on it that the smaller creators work better. There's actual MIT Sloan researched on this. And for Instagram, I can give you the stats. Like it's for somebody who's a nano creator, it's about 2.53% views to engagement.
Okay.
And for somebody with 1 million followers is 0.96%. So not only the engagement rate is through the roof, it's much cheaper.
Yeah, and that's it. And I guess the point is as well that you can run a statistically significant study to prove this to yourself with dramatically less money, right?
Absolutely.
Right. Because someone could come to Creator-Base and you can, instead of having to buy one Kim Kardashian, right, you can get 100 of these small influencers, and you can actually get data and understand how this is changing for, like, I'm guessing, like very small sort of budgets, right? I guess like some of these micro influencers, like, I guess like, you're rewarding these people, I guess, like tens of dollars to sort of thing. Is that sort of like what this looks like?
Yeah, that's a good question. It ranges from anywhere from tens to hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
But the idea is that right now, in order to quality control the kind of brands and the campaigns that are on the platform, we are basically doing $10,000 of campaigns as a pilot, so that it's sizable enough for them to see, like to your point, statistically significant results.
Yeah.
Like for example, I could also open it up to $500.
I'm
not in it like to make. I won't make the most money out of like $10,000.
Sure.
But the idea is in $500, you won't really see the needle mover.
Yeah.
And that's why we've kept $10,000. It's just a heuristic number that I've come up with.
Yeah.
People are willing to pay for.
Yeah.
So there's not much science behind it, but the general idea is that as long as it's statistically significant, they'll come back.
Yeah.
And then we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. But this is the point, right? Like anyone can come and can try this new thing, and the point is for them, this is as easy as it would have been to just pay one influencer, kind of like
much easier.
Yeah.
Because you have to onboard the influencer. You have to sign a contract with them. You have to liaise with them. You have to make sure they do it. In this case, you're essentially making a post on our platform that, okay, I want you to talk about this. So much easier. I would even say it's much easier than getting one influencer.
No, I mean, no, it sounds awesome. I guess, how do you see this evolving then? I mean, it seems like a pretty big opportunity in and of itself. It seems like in the age of AI, something I say all the time, in the age of AI, being human has never mattered more, right? And actually like this movement towards, again, influencers and individuals and humans and just caring a lot more about that, right? It seems like you're, again, solving a problem, and actually it's just like it's in the right direction of how things are sort of like traveling. Like influencers, it seems that are going to get more important, not less important. At least that's my sort of like view.
Right.
But I guess like, how do you see this? Yeah, how do you see this evolving over in the future?
Yeah, I see this becoming a self-serve platform. Right now, what I do is I manually onboard folks just for quality control reasons.
Yeah, of course.
So I think one evolution is clearly going to be that you come and post on your own. You don't even have to talk to me. You sign up on the platform, start posting. So you could, like, you and I could have an idea at 11 p.m. and have it posted at 11:10, and by the next day you start getting content posted about you. So I think that's one. I also see we are already multi-platform. So like YouTube, Instagram, Farcaster, Twitter, Facebook. The idea is we want to be covering all social media platforms. So I think that's another direction we would go. Yeah, and in complete honesty, there are challenges that I've also observed that I didn't earlier. And that might be useful for people who are hearing this. Is that it's a extremely BD heavy affair, a business development heavy affair.
Sure.
And you're essentially competing against agencies who are, they have existing relationships, and it's a very relationship driven business, as I've understood. Not particularly my strong suit. So that's something I've discovered in the process. But yeah, like barring that, I'm trying to figure out ways around it. But I definitely think that like this opportunity should work. And also this is one of those use cases in crypto which is not a crypto use case. It's a use case that is unlocked for Web2 value unlocks.
I mean, it's ads, right? Like it's ad marketing. That's what this is, right? This is just like better forms of like the original Google sort of like PPC, right? Like, it's just an extension of all that, right? And those are very entrenched industries. Isn't that like that famous show like out in New York or something that's all about the ad agency? I don't know. I can't remember. I should know kind of like better myself. I mean, like, one question on this, right? Do you feel that is there some sort of, one of the worries when I think about this is that, I think a lot here about with everything that we're doing and everything that the school's doing about like the people doing things because those things are the right things to do versus people doing things because they're paid to do those things. They might be the same thing, like actually the fact that you pay for it doesn't mean that it's not right, but I'm wondering, it's like, will people do things just because, again, it's the right thing to do versus being paid? Is there some sort of risk here that you sort of like, I don't know, cannibalize a load of people that are already sort of like advocates or potential advocates for you, and you just end up paying them to do something that was just the thing they should have done in the first place? Or is that not a problem with Creator-Base?
No, I think that's a fair issue. And I also think there is a window of 2 to 3 years where it is not obvious that even small creators get paid. Because as you said, right? No, like for example, I have 800 followers on Twitter or something. Nobody's offering me money. So if I post something, nobody thinks that I'm getting paid for it. I don't think that will be the case. Like either us or somebody will crack this, either a bigger player or a startup emerging. Like 2 to 3 years, you would be like, oh no, this is paid, right?
When you start just randomly posting images of a Coca-Cola bottle.
I mean, I think we'll be on this if I start posting that, like some baby.
I mean, I was just posting random pictures of chocolate yesterday, right? Like.
I mean, that's perfectly.
Like Lint, Lint is my new sponsor. There's a, please come. I'm happy. Like that seems like a very brand aligned sponsor. Okay, so interesting.
Interesting that you say that, and I can share something. The original idea for Creator-Base is actually from 3 years ago, wherein I was actually posting a cricket video, and. Are you familiar with cricket at all?
I mean, I was British, so I played a little bit of cricket as a kid.
So behind the wickets, I had the camera set up. And I was bowling, and my brother was playing a cover drive. And so in that split frame, there was his shoe, which was Puma at the end. So I saw that. I'm like, dude, that is product placement. And the video got all of 800 views. I'm like, okay, this doesn't obviously make sense to them. And in my mind, I wondered back in 22, this is before AI, before everything, that, like 800 views don't matter to them. But if 1,000 people posted this exact video or like similar video with product placement, like just organic integration, in your case, if whatever, Lint, chocolate being here, I think that's not forced, but that's still brand impressions. So I forgot about that then. And then earlier this year at a hackathon, I built a version 1 in which it was essentially product placement, and that's how it started. So exactly what you said.
I mean, I have seen the Puma logo on the shoe, right? So look, again, it's working, right? It's interesting. Is there some sort of like sort of like retro funding of like of sort of again, like, is there a way that you can maybe sort of like track or attribute that Puma video, and then their Puma can go, you know what we're going to do is like, we're not going to spend any of our ad budget this year. Actually, we're just going to reward it to micro influencers, at the end of the year, proportionally to like the sort of awareness that they've driven. And like, let's, and forget about it. Like, is that sort of thing that you're also maybe enabling?
Yes. So like, as a feature of the platform, you can retrospectively reward. And that's a thing in crypto. But broadly speaking, if you just tell us that, okay, I want to reward everybody who posted in 2025 with a Puma logo, we could do that. right? So definitely unlocks that, and that sort of
Yeah.
solves the problem that you had, which is a completely fair thing to say.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
if everything is incentivized, nothing is valuable or nothing is trustworthy.
Mhm.
But in this case, if people post it before they knew they'll get paid,
Yeah.
that's value.
Yeah,
And
but it's so tough though, right? So it's like with, I mean, you brought up Monad, right? Right, they've got the airdrop that's happening right now, right? And I mean, it's just a difficult problem, right? It's like they made that decision, for example, for like the fact that you were using the testnet didn't actually mean that you qualified for the
really? I didn't know.
airdrop. Right? I mean, this is, you know, because I guess it was so easy to game, right? And that you could just like put bots in place that were, you know, were just like doing hundreds or millions of transactions for like zero cost on just like testnet points. And so it's, I think it's a bit more complicated than that, right? But it's like, it's very difficult to attribute value to, you know, just to the right people, I guess, right? And just, it just seems like a weird question. I guess I'm definitely like uncomfortable with that question in a way, right? It's sort of like, but everyone's got to eat as well, right? So it's I don't know. It's challenging.
Yeah, that's something that also, like, I'm a very anti-social media guy, because I'm a very wrong founder in that sense to be building this. But having said that, I happen to be in this position. But
it sounds similar to me, but yeah, keep going.
No, but I totally picture you as this, so I don't know what you're talking about. But no, my thesis being that, yeah, I am uncomfortable with everything being sort of paid, because I already trust very few people on social media, and if everybody does that, that's a problem. However, I think there is a fine line, and so two things, right? One is inevitability. It will happen. There is no reason that this won't happen. And B, if it will happen, if there's a transparent way of doing it, right? I don't think people mind if, like, I pay $8 if I'm talking about something relevant. If I post about baby powder to my limited follower base, they'll be like, fuck you. But
look, it's adult daycare. That fits perfectly. No?
Good call, man. You're getting the hang of it. No, but seriously, like, if I talk about a DEX which is really good, I have personally used, and I'm actually trusted somewhat in my Web2 circles to like trust me to try out something. I think that is still valuable. So I think there's a sort of fine balance that way, which is, again, another thing that I've built is a mini app on Farcaster, which essentially breaks down my last 100 tweets or users' last 100 tweets by category of what I have posted about.
Interesting.
So, for instance, if I'm not posted about baby powder, I shouldn't be allowed to make money out of baby powder. But if I've organically already posted about NFTs and generated 20,000 views, I become eligible. Now, that's the mini app score. This we're calling it the creator score. It's live on the base app, Farcaster and whatnot. That way, I think there is a level of qualification to it, that just because this bottle was paying me today, I'm not started posting. I've actually spoken about mineral water in the past. That's our attempt to sort of.
No, that's interesting, right? I bet you're aligning kind of like reputation with whatever it is, right? And I guess that's very interesting, because like providing a better data layer as well to brands on like who they're actually leveraging, as opposed to random influencers. Actually, they can be experts that are in sort of things like. So I can see that making a ton of sense. Like maybe you can like really skate to where the puck is going and like build some sort of like, assume this system kind of like happens. Like, can you then like put like a you know, a layer of like you know, I can never be retro rewarded for this post. You know, like I just believe this, and I'm never ever going to allow myself to be paid for this belief. You know, I am unbuyable. You know, like I have one tweet from like years ago. It just is like, it says be unbuyable. You know, and maybe you can enable a layer that I never get rewarded for that tweet. Do not pay me for being unbuyable. Like, you know.
No,
Imagine the campaign, you know, that now everyone like mocks me by sending me money. Oh, woe me. Right?
That's one way, but also like I would trust you more automatically, right? If you have the balls to say that publicly, even if that is not enforceable in a complete 100% manner, even on chain. But the fact that you're putting your reputation out there, and that people would find you some trail of you getting paid, I think there's value to that. I think that's
interesting stuff here as well, like connected to, like, we talk a lot about prediction markets kind of like here, right? It's a very like I think versus like the average like community of 250 people, like the incident rate of like us talking or leveraging or using or thinking about prediction markets here is probably like the most in the world, right? But there's lots of things like that, right? Prediction markets, I feel, is like one of them, right?
Sure.
I do also think like this intersection of creators with technology and in Web3, again, like we have like this, I think it's one of these places where like it's extreme here versus other kind of like places. Where was I going with prediction markets, right? The point again with this like retro funding of maybe sort of stuff, right? It's like, oh yeah, like can you retro reward predictions? And I don't know how far that like online social as influencers, right? And like actually like, and maybe I don't know where the line is, right? But like you predict which Coca-Cola is the one that everyone's going to like best or whatever it is, right? And therefore they end up with the largest ad budget, and then they can like reward you for it, type thing. Versus just like, yeah, you were tweeting earlier about AI, and like you just ended up being sort of like proved kind of like correct. Can we like kind of like retro fund that sort of like micro influence that you had in the past that was sort of correct? I mean, again, it's like a little bit tangential to some of the core problems that you're solving, but it's just interesting to think about.
Would you say in that case you are essentially saying that, okay, you are an early believer, say, of a product? Or I think I do that with cricketers all the time, because I have some whatever knowledge and like awareness of like this player would go big, and now I just tweet it when they're in like just arriving at the international scene, and then I go tweet back. So something like that, right? Like essentially early conviction, and having the balls to post about it. Because if it fails, you come out as a clown.
I like it a lot, and again, it's like I'm so fucking naive. Like I have actually posted on Farcaster. I should use it like so much more. Like, can you delete posts?
Very good question. Yes, you can delete posts,
even if they've been written like on like they've been written to a blockchain, such that you could be
in that
like,
sense. Okay. So full transparency, not all posts are on chain, at least at the moment. It doesn't make sense. If there's a commercial value to it, we'll do it. We're not trying to just build a hackathon project. And
of course. No,
so for that reason, no. But I think yes, that's a very strong point. That providence of like I did post it or I didn't post it,
and that you couldn't delete it. Is I think like it's like the more risk, right? Because you're like one of the challenges of these social platforms, right? Is that someone will tweet today like 20 tweets of what the price of Bitcoin will be in 6 months, right? And then they just go back and they delete 19 of them, right? And then you do that enough over a period of time, and then suddenly you have this like unbelievable track record. But what you don't have is a full history of what's gone on there, right? It's just very interesting. But yes, but my point is exactly that. Like I feel like this ability to predict what's going to happen, to be able to have early conviction. It's like that classic video, right? The first follower video. Have you seen that video? It's like there's a dude like dancing at a concert. If I was Balaji, I would bring it up now and show you, right? But it's an amazing video of this guy dancing like a lunatic he's just on his own for however long, dancing at a concert, right? But then like one person runs down and joins this person, right? Starts out, and now everybody runs down and joins them, right? And it's like, honestly, this first follower is almost more important than the person that moves in the first place, right? And again, it's sort of connected to this, right? There's like an extremely valuable role to perform, just having conviction alone, let alone having conviction and being correct, right? Which is like an even more important sort of thing, right? It's just sort of it's interesting.
No, I think that's super relevant, and I think maybe a bit of a tangent, but I also do feel with like just the fuck ton of AI content. Have you seen those memes wherein, like a guy gets caught cheating to his girlfriend and he's like, oh, maybe that's AI. That's what politicians would do. That's what founders would do. That's what everybody would do. It is like, you've seen the Sora videos, right? You could do that, right? What I was wondering is that if like at the device level, if there was a on-chain and with Base and like other Solanas of the world, it's possible, like cheap really transactions. If you could just mint that on chain, even if you don't want to make it public, so that I can like how we have metadata on the phones, like this device, this location.
Absolutely.
If there was a transaction saying that this was taken from this phone at this location, whatever the fuck. And then if I don't see that transaction hash or a tick that says blockchain or something on a social media post, I'm like, you're not serious about that.
Yes.
And if you are, then have it up. If you're not, don't post it. And to your point, then that is immutable. So then I can't go back and delete the 19 out of my 20 predictions and then come out looking like a smartass.
Yes.
I do think that is like going to fucking happen. I think, and what's great for us in crypto is that crypto is like, in terms of the value add, most of the use cases are sort of like I don't know, like 3 to 5 years out.
Yeah.
But I think AI expedites that, because there's only blockchain can solve this.
Yeah.
There's no other technology on the internet that
Yeah,
could
yeah.
solve for like this sort of fake versus reality.
Yeah.
So I've thought about that a little bit. I do think that will happen, and that could also fit into our use case of rewarding like genuine.
Yeah. Exactly. It seems so interesting again, like this. Again, the data layer that you can build out on these micro influencers for these ad agencies, where you can reward genuineness, authenticity, the fact that, okay, not just that you were at the Coke, but you were like really at the Coca-Cola factory, or that you were, and it was really you, and this is a real, all of these things are very, very interesting sort of like data layers that you can provide to not just like have every dollar like return more impressions or more engagement, right? But just for it to be like for it to be, I guess, like just a better long-term spend, right? Just deeper, more authentic sort of like relationships again, and actually like to maybe, and that's where I get worried again, because it's like, does money become the heart of the relationship with these influencers as opposed to,
Right.
But again, it's just, it remains to be seen. Again, I agree entirely with what you said, right? Like this is going to happen.
Yeah.
And then the question is just like, how good is it? And who is it that's doing it? And like, what's it used for? And all the rest of it. It's very interesting.
And let the free markets decide, right? So
Yeah.
I think if everybody thinks, okay, this is stupid, I don't trust anything, I won't buy anything from it, the brands would stop spending money.
Yes.
If it works, the brands would keep spending money.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's what I would say. There's another point when you were making, I had like small thought there, which I've lost my chain of thought, but anyway, let's continue. It was relevant to this. I'm just completely lost it, but please go on.
Yeah, no. It's just sort of, no, I mean, again, there's just like a lot going on now. I have no more comments than that. I guess like my main question is, how do people come and play with this tool? How do they come and use it? How do they come and leverage this unlock you've created?
Super. So you can reach out to me on Twitter at @Gagan Gehani, GAGAN and the Creator Base platform, which is Join Creator Base @ Join Creator Base. And if you want to check out what we've built for NS Network School, go to social.creatorbase.pro. You will see the dashboard of all organic mentions of Network School. So yeah, that would be it.
No, cool. Super amazing. Well, again, thank you for coming and having such an interesting chat. I appreciate your time, energy, effort. Thank you for being here, right? Pleasure. And thank you everyone for listening to yet another ARC Live. I hope that you come here and you end up in the seat too. Until next week or in the next 5 days, because we have so many interesting people here that we want to speak to. Thank you so much and speak to you really soon. Cheers.